All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about a thousand-year-old text from Kashmir called the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Now, I know ancient tantric text might sound a little heavy, but trust me, its message is wild. It's shockingly modern, super direct, and surprisingly simple. It's all about finding something profound in the most ordinary parts of our day-to-day lives. And I mean that literally. What if that sudden, explosive, totally involuntary sensation actually held a key to understanding reality? This isn't a joke. It's exactly the kind of radical, out-of-the-box question this text asks. It forces us to look for these flashes of pure awareness in places we would never, ever think to look. So what even is this thing? Well, it's not a rule book, it's not a list of commandments, and it's not some dense philosophical treatise. The whole Vijnana Bhairava is actually framed as a really intimate conversation, a dialogue between the divine couple, the goddess Devi, who asks the questions, and the god Bhairava, who gives the answers. Now, what's so cool about this is Devi's role. She's not just a passive listener. She represents all of us. You know, the sincere seeker. She basically says to Bhairava, look, I've heard all the theories, I've studied the complex doctrines, the rituals, all the different schools of thought, but I'm still confused. My doubts aren't gone. She's asking for the real deal, the one clear, direct path. And Bhairava's response is, well, it's probably not what she was expecting. Before he even offers her a path forward, he starts by just tearing down everything she thought she knew about spirituality. He takes all those complicated systems and basically just tosses them right out the window. So you get this huge contrast, right? Bhairava looks at all the external stuff, the chanting, the intricate rituals, the diagrams of energy centers, the doctrines, and he pretty much calls them all distractions. He says they have no essence. He rejects all of it for something way more fundamental, way more immediate, your own direct personal experience. And he uses this brilliant analogy, one of the most famous lines from the whole text. He says all those complex paths are just starting points. They're like candy a mother gives a child just to get their attention. They're meant to get you in the door, but they are not the destination. They are not the meal itself. Okay, so if the path isn't about all that complicated stuff, then what is it? This is where Bhairava drops his truly revolutionary answer. He doesn't offer a new philosophy. He offers a toolkit. And that toolkit comes in the form of this number, 112. Instead of one single, rigid path, Bhairava lays out 112 distinct techniques for directly experiencing a higher state of consciousness, 112 different doorways. These techniques are called dhāranās. Now, don't get hung up on the Sanskrit word. You can think of them as quick, powerful awareness hacks. They aren't long, complicated meditations. Each one is just a simple, direct method for centering your consciousness on a single, powerful moment. And the absolute genius of these things is where you're supposed to practice them. Not in a cave, not in a monastery on some remote mountaintop, but right in the middle of your messy, ordinary, everyday life. They use universal human experiences as the actual gateways to the extraordinary. Let's just look at a few. The very first one is built around something you're literally doing right now without even thinking about it: breathing. And the technique is unbelievably simple. Just pay attention to your breath. But here's the twist. Don't focus on the air coming in or the air going out. Instead, focus all of your awareness on the two voids. That tiny little still pause at the very top of your inhale and that other tiny still pause at the very bottom of your exhale. In those gaps, when your breath has stopped for just a split second, your thinking mind stops too. And in that stillness, the text says, that's where divinity reveals itself. Okay, now for one that's a little more surprising. The text also tells us to look at sudden, powerful, and even completely involuntary moments in our lives. And yep, this is where the sneeze comes back in. The text says to use the moments right before and after a sneeze, or in a sudden flash of fear, or in a wave of deep sorrow. Now, why would it say that? Because in those intense states, your analytical mind gets totally short-circuited. It can't process, it can't label, you just are. That total absorption in the present moment is what the text calls a glimpse of ultimate reality. It's a powerful, unexpected portal. All right, from the involuntary to the totally enjoyable. This last example really shows just how down-to-earth this whole spiritual path can be. It finds a gateway in the simple, beautiful pleasure of eating and drinking. So the instruction here is to really focus on the joy and the satisfaction that comes from a delicious meal or a great drink. And when you feel that sense of blissful fullness, the idea is to merge with it completely. Don't just think about the pleasure, become one with the sensation itself. The text says that by dissolving your sense of self into that feeling of satisfaction, you can experience a state of incredible bliss. So, okay, we've got breathing, sneezing, eating. What is the big idea here? What connects all of this? Well, it's a profound and, honestly, an incredibly empowering shift in how we see the world. It really all boils down to this. The text is telling us that divinity, or truth, or whatever you want to call it, it isn't some far-off goal you have to spend your life striving for. It's right here. It's hidden in plain sight, in your own experience. That means any moment, literally any moment, of focused awareness can become a portal. The path is direct, it's personal, and it's immediate. You don't need special knowledge, you don't need complex rituals, you just need to pay attention. So that kind of leaves us with one final, very personal question to think about. Whether it's your next breath, or the taste of your morning coffee, or just the sound of traffic outside, what if the key to everything you're searching for isn't in some ancient book at all, but it's hiding in your very next moment of focused attention?